Hi guys, we are team 2 from the beta cohort and our topic is farm bills and the future of the primary sector in India in the coming years. The Indian Agriculture Act, also referred to as Farm Bill, was passed by the Parliament of India on 24th September 2020. The Farm Bill consists of three acts. The first one is the Farmers Trade, Produce and Commerce Act. This act allows the farmers to basically sell their produce beyond the stated physical markets called mandi, which are regulated by the APMCs. It also provides a e-trading platform to farmers for direct and online selling of their produce. It also prohibits state governments and the APMCs from levying any taxes or cess on farmers' produce. The next is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Act. This act seeks to provide farmers with a framework for contact farming, under which the farmers can come into agreement with buyers before the sowing season and sell their produce at predetermined rates. The next one is the Essential Commodities Act. And under this act, the government has basically removed a few commodities like edible oils, pulses, onions, and potatoes from the essential commodities list. What this means is basically that the government will now be able to regulate the prices of these and the stock holding limit of these only under special cases of war, famine, natural calamities, or if the price fluctuation is on the very extreme.
Okay. Motto of the farming bill is to increase the farmers' profit. With respect to advantages, there are few. Firstly, farmers can go and sell their products wherever they can feel across India and wherever they are getting high value for their product. And, secondly, farmer can strike a deal with any corporate across the globe, and they can sell to them with the price they feel it's good. And also by doing this, they eliminate all the middleman commission. They can increase their profits. Apart from that, Government of India also having a dispute committee where the farmers all the legal thing is taken care of, so that they don't want to get afraid of like corporates will take their land or like they will face some other legal force by their law.
The biggest disadvantage of the farm bill was the way in which it was cut it. Let's cut it. The disadvantage of the farm bill is that the way in which it was executed by the central government. As everyone knows that the agriculture comes in the state list. Even if the government argues that the trade and commerce comes in the concurrent list and they have the right to take the decision and pass the bill, I think so they should have consulted the state governments and the opposition before passing the bill, because agriculture comes in the state list. And the second thing is that the average capacity of each Indian farmer is less than 1 acre, and they don't have enough education and knowledge to counter the exploitation of the corporates. And also that due to the passage of farm bills, the state governments are not allowed to collect taxes for the transport of goods across the states, and this will completely lead to their loss in revenue for the state governments also. And the APMCs might be safe for a few years, but you can't guarantee that it will be safe for the future also. It can be demolished at any time, as there's no protection by the government for APMCs. And the next point is that, for example, I'll give you an example. If there is an agreement between the farmer and a corporate, and there is a guaranteed price in that agreement, and the corporates provide all the facilities for farmers to produce. And suppose imagine that the corporates come to the farmer after they have given the produce, and the corporates can argue with the farmers to reduce the price, because all that matters for corporate is that demand and supply. The demand is less, they argue for lesser prices, and there is no such framework to protect the farmers in that case. If the farmers go against the corporates, they don't have anyone to support. and they can't go to government also, as there is no provision for MSP as well. Even though the government assures that there will be a minimum support price, there is no explicit law stating that there will be a minimum support price. That's it.
So agriculture in India has been a livelihood for majority of the Indians, and it should never be underestimated. I agree to the fact that the percentage of GDP, the percentage it contributes to the GDP is less than 20% now, but the output of production has increased subsequently due to increased population and increased demand as well. We're proud to say that we are the next net exporter of net exporter of allied products as well as agricultural products. But there are some hindrances and limitations which the industry is facing right now. And in order to progress ahead, we need to remove these limitations. The first limitation can be the role of the role of technology in the sector. There are marginal number of farmers who use technology for farming and for supply chain management and for transportation of their goods and services. Another point comes to the fact that there's low access to credit, and there's unorganized lending in this sector. So everything is ultimately controlled by one particular person who's the head of the village, and if he lends money, everything is done according to him. And now the way forward is I see many startups in this agriculture space are now funding agri startups, and many investors funding agri startups, and people are pouring money into agriculture, which is a very positive sign and for a good road ahead. So for the for the primary sector to bloom in the subsequent years, I see some factors which can promote the growth. One is the increasing population of country like India. The second is more tech players getting inside the sector. The third is more competition among the private players, which would also lead to a greater access to the markets. And the fourth is the retail agriculture, which would be readily and easily available for each and everyone.
Okay. I agree with Yash's point. It all portrays the Farm Bill's positive points. But I think I'll look at the flip side first. I mean, there's a reason farmers have been protesting for more than 200 days. And there was a protest spiked again in Haryana 3 weeks ago. So looking at the flip side, farmers have weak negotiation skills about the second Farm Bill. When the corporates make a contract with farmers, and they can get easily exploited, and there's no separate department to protect the farmers. So that's the first thing we need to consider. But looking at the positives, exclusion of middlemen can be actually beneficial to the farmers, as they'll get more choice and variety for their prices, more choice for their produce. In all, I think government needs to put all their uncertainties to stop addressing them directly, state by state, because actually this is a state by state concern, not a central concern.
So according to me, the farm laws could have been introduced in a better manner, but there are a lot of positives to this. Like in the previous acts and in the previous laws, we used to see a lot of farmer suicides as well. So that is not a benchmark to compare the new law right now. But the new law will open a new economy for the agriculture sector in general, as we witnessed in 1990, wherein the post liberalization phase, wherein new investments and new flows had to come into majority of the sectors in our country. So I think the agriculture sector in the coming time will bloom with tech startups into this space, and a lot of more private players who are pitching in right now.
Yeah, many apps have been introduced for the farmers to help them sell their produce from their own place. They don't have to transport their produce from one state to another to get a good price. So having this tech at their hand will actually really help them to sell the produce at a good price. Also, addressing this MSP concern that it cannot be put in the constitution, there's a reason for that, because if MSP is put there, the main produce which is purchased to MSP goes in buffer, and buffer stock of India is the largest in the world as compared to other countries like China or US or something. So that is the main reason MSP cannot be constituted.
So I guess everyone is done with the points. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you.